Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of 5 Minute Gaming News, the show that may or may not be 5 minutes. Today in the news, Blizzard leaves China. That's right. When their current deal with NetEase ends in January, WoW, Hearthstone, Overwatch, all the rest will no longer be sold in China. And this is one of those pretty big news stories because in the world of gaming business, Blizzard has spent the last 13, 14 years doing everything in its power to keep themselves in the Chinese government's good graces so they can play ball in one of the biggest markets in the world. That led to some pretty embarrassing moments where Blizzard definitely took some flack for being openly pro-China, especially in the face of Hong Kong protests that led to moments like this.
光复香港时代革命!
Well, it seems like all of that effort may not have been worth the hassle. As Blizzard said, they've decided not to renew the deal since they couldn't reach an agreement that is consistent with Blizzard's operating principles and commitments to players and employees. Which, to be honest, actually sounds pretty good. It sounds like things are changing there. Whether they are or not, it sounds like it, because in 2008, when they first signed this deal, none of this seemed to be a problem then. But they also could just not want to sign anything new with this Microsoft, Activision, Blizzard takeover thing on the horizon. Maybe it's too many things on the books. I don't know. But the most interesting thing comes from Simon Shu, NetEase's head of partnerships, who said, "One day, when what has happened behind the scene can be told, developers and gamers will have a whole new level of understanding of how much damage a jerk can make." Now, I don't know what that means, and I don't know who that jerk is, but that's some tea right there. Could one person really tank a deal like this? Who would that person be? I would love to know your guesses down in the comments below. Speaking of jerks, let's once again return to the drama that is the Doom soundtrack. As I'm sure you know by now, the incredibly talented Mick Gordon responded to claims by Marty Stratton, executive producer and director for Bethesda, saying Mick was responsible for the failure of the game's official soundtrack, to which Mick responded via a 14,000-word Medium post with plenty of receipts that Marty was lying and defaming Mick's character. Since then, the post has blown up, being covered by this and many other shows. Well, on Wednesday, Bethesda responded to Gordon's account of events saying they were a distortion of the truth, and that the statements posted online have incited harassment and threats of violence against Marty, Chad, and the id Software team. Any threats or harassment directed towards members of our teams will be met with swift and appropriate action to protect their health and safety. And just for the record, in his post, Mick said, "Don't harass people. I know some of this might make you upset, but leave them alone." He went out of his way. I understand that some people are just not going to listen to that, and emotions and, limited social skills aside, don't harass people, even if they're assholes. It's not going to make anything better, and Mick even says so. It might make it worse. Bethesda then ended by saying, "We stand ready with full and complete documented evidence to disclose in an appropriate venue as needed." So it's like, we're not going to argue with them here, but if we have to go to court, we will have all the documentation to prove that we're innocent, I guess is what they're saying. I don't know, it seems weird to say, we have all the details, we're not going to share them, but if we need to, we'll share them, but we're not going to share them. So then why bring it up? Right? It seems like corpo BS, you know what I mean? Yeah, we totally could take you down if we wanted to. You're a giant corporation. Dude's not gonna sue. He just wants to be left alone and to stop having his name slandered. It seems like one of those moments where corporations forget that people love and respect the faces of games, the people that are out in front, that are celebrated. Mick Gordon is one of those people. And they don't really particularly care about the company of Bethesda, right? That's not... I think a lot of big companies forget this because they're like, we sold so much money, people love us. No. They love those who make the games, who add creativity to the games. You guys just collect paychecks. I feel like we should establish that before you start doing any more of this shit. On the total flip side, in news of companies being pretty awesome, Darktide is coming. But first, Fat Shark just up and gave away its previous game, Vermintide 2, for free earlier this month. And during that 4-day window, 10 million free copies were claimed. 10 million! Making its way back into the Steam Top 10 and rolling right along with new patches and content and more. All of this, of course, leading up to the release of Darktide on the 30th. And what's so great about this is because they gave away the game for free. A whole bunch of people who probably have no experience with Warhammer, don't care at all, played it for its Left 4 Dead vibes and saw how good it was. It's a phenomenal game. And now they're probably hyped for Darktide, which is at the end of the month, and more players will play that, which means I personally can play any hour I want and just get into a game because so many people are playing, and great multiplayer games are made better by more people playing them. And now you have this whole group that's into Warhammer maybe, and maybe they'll look into 40K, and it just seems like a win-win for the company and a win-win for Warhammer. And honestly, I'm hype as hell. I've played the game already a few times. It's great. Just imagine Vermintide, but space! I love every bit of it, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. I believe people are playing beta right now. I'm sure they're streaming it. You can go watch it if you want to see what's up. I think that's genuinely awesome. Speaking of awesome, have you checked out Cox Clips? I would love it if you would. Go over to youtube.com/CoxClips. We've got VODs, we've got shorts, we've got all sorts of stuff over there. If you're like, Jesse, what about this game? Are you playing it? Chances are there might be a video there. I would love for you to go check it out. Thanks so much. We're almost at 100,000 subscribers over there. How did that even happen? I'm blown away. Thank you so much. That's it. See y'all tomorrow for another episode of 5 Minute Gaming News.